That's another thing you talked about that really threw me off when it happened was the whole Yellowflash thing, which I'm not trying to go backwards on that, but like going out there at your page rate for a
Yeah.
cover was just like fucking retarded. Like I
It's
don't.
mean. It
I
was
mean,
mean.
I heard somebody explain it that he thought he was just being like taken advantage of.
Yeah,
Like
like what the
like
hell? What am I? You
I
don't
don't
think like, oh, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Oh, but like me not getting paid on a comic book that's gonna
know.
raise $1 million is
Well,
me
uh,
not being taken advantage of?
well, here's the thing. Even if you felt like you were taking advantage of him, which you weren't, but let's pretend like in his head that's what he believed. What the fuck good is it doing to go out there and air that shit out on Twitter publicly?
Like he could come to me and go, "How's 3,000 sound?" And
Right.
I'd say no. But I mean, at least like there could be a little bit of a thing going on there. Like I didn't know he was insulted by it. I said, you know what, Flash, I would do it for 4 grand. And he went, oh, really, 4 grand? I said, yeah, yeah, sure, we're friends. I didn't know that he was like, really, 4 grand? Like I didn't know. He was like, that's too much money.
It's like
I didn't know.
how about 3,999?
99. Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, seriously,
Oh,
like
that's a lot of money.
seriously, this is correct. $10,000 is right about where we should be for me to do a cover for any of these
Oh,
clowns.
so he asked me to do a cover, and I guess he said it, which I didn't like because I never agreed to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
now he's kind of putting it out there. I'm doing it, which I wasn't. So
Yeah.
anyway, so his audience is expecting it at some point in time, not anymore. But he goes, well, how much is your cover rate? And I'm like, well, I'd probably do it in a percentage of what you sell. And then he
Mm-hmm.
comes up to me at Tempe. He's like, yeah, about that cover. I was like, yeah, dude, that was like months ago. I'm kind of super swamped and getting ready to do a bunch of stuff. And he's like, well, I'd rather for me just pay you a flat rate. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we'll talk about it later. I never gave him my cover rate. I never gave it to him like at
You
all.
never told him what it was.
No,
Okay, it'd be
no.
funny if you did now, like, and you just went ahead and just you doubled my rate.
Double dip. No, but it was just like so bizarre. It's like, what's
Just
wrong?
bring him into the real world. He doesn't get it. You're asking artists to create work that you will exploit, work for hire that's going to end up on T-shirts and posters. And unless you want to pay royalties forever on all that stuff, you're going to be promoting it everywhere. Everywhere that people see your comic book advertisement, they're going to be looking at our artwork. It's more expensive than an interior page. Okay, you're asking somebody to do work to help make you money.
I've
Pay
went up
them.
I've went up to legends, like people that I love as growing up as a comic artist, people I really looked up to, I learned a lot from. I asked them like, hey, what's your cover rate? They give it to me. I don't complain at the
Mm-mm.
number. I either pay it or I don't, and I move on. And oftentimes, two times I've paid it. I'm just
Yeah.
fortunate enough that they'll do it for me. Like I don't understand. Like this isn't the business of negotiating. Like this isn't not really. I mean, I guess you can go back and be like, well, I can pay this, but you can't get like offended and be like, that's a lot of money. You can't do that.
Yeah, no, listen, here's the thing. I paid Dale Keown 5 figures.
Yeah.
5 figures. And the reason why I paid Dale Keown 5 figures is because I want him to do his best work. I don't want it to be rushed out. But also because I'm going to be making posters. I'm going to be exploiting it. I might make t-shirts, trading cards. And I will feel bad if I don't. And then you know what I did? I said I want the original art too. And
Mhm.
then I sold the original art for $20,000 and then cut him a check for half of that. Half of that. So
It's
Dale Keown made a ton of money doing a Cyberfrog cover for me. A ton of money. And that's the way to treat people. Jay Lee, same thing. 5 figures for the Jay Lee cover for Wreck Planet. And I've used it everywhere, shamelessly, because I love it and I paid for it. And that's the way it should be. By the way, I did ask J. Scott Campbell. You, you
You
know how
told
much he
me I've
wanted?
heard this story before. I can't remember the number, but I know you've said this before. Was it like a price that they're like they just priced you out because they didn't want to do
Because
it?
he didn't want to do it. but he didn't know how badass I am. And like, because he wanted six figures. And I will tell you, that didn't scare me because I know what a J. Scott Campbell piece of artwork is going to generate in terms of income for me. So, I mean, yeah, it's like six figures. Let me think about that. So I'm going to put it on a cover. I'm going to put it on a calendar. I'm going to put it on t-shirts. I'm going to do this and that. I'll make an action figure based on it, a statue. It's all in how you look at it. It's like, okay, is he worth it? Yes, he's worth it, and he's letting me know what his value is for him to do something he doesn't want to do. Like he's like, I don't want to draw Cyberfrog and Heather Swain. I understand. But how much is it going to take to get you to do it? Because I'll be able to make a lot of money off of you doing that. So, it's all you got to think of it in terms of that. I would definitely double my money if I went and I bought a J. Scott Campbell piece.
Right.
And yeah, like I'm stupid enough to do it, Shane. You got to spend money to make money.
He's got a built-in fan base, and that's the other thing too with certain people like you yourself, especially you. More so than J. Scott Campbell, you already have a built-in person buying comics on the internet. That's actually what Yellowflash was going to be buying, not the actual artwork on the cover. He was going to be buying. Ethan Van Sciver's customers are used to purchasing books on YouTube, and that's what I'm about to do. That's what he was going to purchase. Now he can go buy a cover from J. Scott Campbell, and maybe he'll probably make a lot of money off of it. But again, like J. Scott Campbell isn't selling comics on YouTube. No,
but I mean it's all about how you like. If I paid that much money for a J. Scott Campbell piece, right. First of all, I'd do everything with it. It'd be everywhere. But one of the things I would also do is I'd make a statue with his art on it and his name on it. Right there, that's money. It's big time money. By the way, having said this, now I want you to think again about my $4,000 from Yellowflash. Now that we're talking about what people get paid in comics, I want you to see how outrageously retarded Yellowflash is. And him being mad at me about it. I mean, it's like...
You didn't even want a whole cookie, just the crumb. That's it. Wasn't asking for a lot, Ethan.
I was being completely reasonable, and he just blasted me all over the internet. So anyway, that's Yellowflash. He's retarded. We are beating his show right now. He has 1,972 people watching at this moment with Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers, leader of Geeks and Gamers. We're holding firm at 2250. So we're doing good tonight, and we're doing the $4,000 is six figures. That's the 2 zeros at the end.
Yeah,
it's a six-figure.
Somebody said, "What does Shane charge for a cover?" Nobody's business, but it's $4,000 now.
Shane, you're worth more than that.
I know.
You are, and don't you undercharge.
Yeah.
Don't you ever undercharge again.
Don't you do it. Don't you do that. Don't you undercharge.
I'm not, but we're like, me and Shane are cool to the point where Shane's doing a cover for Fear. He did a cover for Fearsome, which looks great. I'm going to be doing a cover for Inglorious Rex 3, and we'll just trade off because I think it's it's a fair exchange. I really appreciate your doing it, Shane.
No, it came out when you showed it to me. It came out really. It looks really boss. Was that the new logo?
Mm-hmm. It's the same logo. Okay. I got 4 different versions of basically the same logo. Squib says, ask Frank Miller for a cover. Dan could ask for you. I don't want one.
Did you see a Scrooge McDuck that was on Twitter the other day?
No.
I don't even know how. Look, I love Scrooge McDuck covers, but if Disney called me and they're like, hey, can you draw a Scrooge McDuck? I'd be like, why? I'll pull it up. It's kind of crazy.
That's weird. Who would you pay 6 figures for? Let's just say that you had $100,000 to spend on a cover by an artist. Who's worth it to you?
Travis Turay.
Yes. For me, it's Todd McFarlane.
Oh,
yeah. Get that Todd McFarlane Cyberfrog cover?
I don't know. I didn't even think, because I don't remember the last time he actually drew something. Maybe
He draws a lot. He does. His stuff is. But I mean, in order for me to pay the $100,000, I'd have to give him the same talk I gave Dale Keown. I told Dale, I said, I want this to look like Pit #1. I mean, I want it to be you with your brushwork, the darks, I want it to look like that. And he understood. And then I was like, that's worth the 5 figures. Todd McFarlane, if I could say, I want you to pretend you're back on Amazing Spider-Man, or Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, but see that works for you because you have like Cyberfrog. He could bend Cyberfrog up into one of those.
He's the perfect artist to draw Cyberfrog. Yeah. And I could exploit the fuck out of it. Obviously, that's what I was surprised. I thought you were going to show me something really horrible, but he did a good job. Having said that, even though the notoriety of getting a Frank Miller Cyberfrog cover would be fun, I know that I would hate the end result. And for that reason, like, I know I know what his prices would look like. I would be, like, embarrassed by the end result these days. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pay for it. Who else would we ask to do a cover that's really, like, Alex Ross? Can you imagine Alex Ross doing Inglorious Rex?
Dude, I would pay so much money for that. I seriously, I would. Alex Ross, I mean, he's kind of overrated, underrated. I've seen commission work he's done at cons. Like, that, like, you're like, he has to do all this. He has to take a million photos. Like, no, the guy can just really paint fucking Doctor Doom versus, Darth Vader. And it looked boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be epic. Especially every time I've seen him paint Hulk, it looks so awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I would like a John Byrne. What would I get John Byrne to do? Not Cyberfrog. Adam Hughes. He could do a Heather Swain for me. That'd be nice. Mark Silvestri could do Cyberfrog. I'd ask Mark Silvestri to do Cyberfrog. What about you, Shane? And I would pay Mark Silvestri $40,000. That'd be my ceiling on Silvestri.
I would probably do I don't know. Most people wouldn't go after him, but I guess I would. Is Rob Liefeld. I don't think he would do Inglorious Rex well, but like I would want a Rob Liefeld piece. I know I wouldn't like what I got. Like I kind of already know I'm not going to get the few Rob things I really like, but I may go in on Rob.
You get Rob for. I mean, if you got Rob to talk to us, you'd have to be like, I'm giving Rob to John. You would have to. You could not take a Rob Liefeld cover in front of, like, right in John's face. If you took a Rob Liefeld cover for Inglorious Rex right in John Malin's face, that would be the most aggressive thing.
That might be the one thing that would push John over the edge. So.
John would be angry with you.
But it'd have to be captured on live stream. Like, it'd have to be like I just pull it up on.
It would be funny, I have to admit.
It's almost worth getting a counterfeit Inglorious Rex cover so I can pull it up. Like, if I can find somebody to counterfeit one, that's a bit, like, it would almost pay for itself.
Marat Michaels, just get him to do it and just be like, sign Rob Liefeld's name on it,
Let me share. Hey, Ethan, look at this cover. Share screen.
It'd be so funny. Oh, look at this. You got Rob He said yes, he did it. Oh, that's great. What do you think, John? John would be pissed.
Yeah.
Let me see. Jim Lee. Would we want Jim Lee? Yeah, we would. But I got to be honest with you. I'm not that big of a fan. I never was.
Somebody pulled up a piece, and it wasn't bad. But they're like, Jim Lee still got it. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't. And it was him, like, doing a commission piece where I think it was Rogue and Gambit. And I'm like, I remember when he drew Rogue and Gambit. And Jim today is different than Jim back then, for sure. Like
I've seen so much Jim Lee work that I've just, it all looks the same to me. So I'm not that into it as much as maybe I would be.
Stuff I'm not into. Like, there is a big difference between the old stuff and the new stuff, though. You know who I would get, and I don't know if it would sell a lot, but Frank Whiteley.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. I would definitely get a Frank Whiteley.
Art Adams would be good. I already got Art Adams though. Art Adams famously did cover for Cyberfrog number 0, which was really cool. Right here. So this is the Art Adams Cyberfrog cover that he did, and it was really cool, man. It was very nice. That was back in the Harris Comics days, you know. I should recolor it. I reuse it. Make a poster. It's Art Adams. It's Art Adams Cyberfrog.
What is it? Have you? Can you recolor that? 'Cause that doesn't look like Art Adams.
Oh, it is though. It's Art Adams from 1997, I guess. You know, Art Adams. Let me see. I went to his house a couple of times. I was friendly with him.
Now I see it with that. Now that you zoomed in, I see it.
Yeah, this isn't the best scan of it. This is just, but there it is. You know, got his name down there at the bottom. I covered up his logo. I didn't do it, but somebody did. Covered up his signature with my stupid credits. But yeah, it's just really good. The great Arthur Adams. I would get him to do it again though. But Frank Wiley would be great. He'd be good on Inglorious Rex, I think.